Chapter 11. Secret Human Technology. Red warning lights flashed throughout the Human Galactic Archive. The calm voice of Aurora echoed through every corridor. Alert. Unknown fleet entering defense perimeter. Estimated time to arrival, 8 minutes. The landing team hurried to the central command chamber. Through the massive observation window, thousands of silver warships emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. Their sleek hulls reflected the light of the dying star, and each vessel carried the same symbol, a rising phoenix. General Kravos stared in disbelief. "I've never seen ships move with such precision." Ethan's expression remained serious. "Neither have I." Aurora projected a three-dimensional map of the archive. Blue lights illuminated dozens of hidden structures beneath the station. "There's something you must know, Commander. This archive was never just a library." Ethan looked at her. What was it? A fortress. With a deep rumble, sections of the station began to move. Ancient walls unfolded. Massive armored doors sealed every entrance. Far outside, enormous defense platforms rose from beneath fields of drifting debris. Princess Lyra watched in amazement. "The entire station is transforming." Aurora nodded. Human engineers believed that knowledge should always be protected. Deep below the archive, Ethan entered a vast underground chamber. Rows upon rows of strange machines stood silently in the darkness. "What are these?" Aurora answered. "Experimental technologies. Most were never deployed before Project Dawn." One platform activated automatically. A small metallic sphere rose into the air. It hovered around Ethan, scanning him. Identity confirmed. The sphere unfolded into a lightweight combat suit. Panels of silver alloy wrapped around Ethan's body with mechanical precision. Within seconds, he stood wearing advanced human armor. Princess Lyra smiled. "It fits perfectly." Aurora replied, "Enemy fleet has entered weapons range." Outside, the mysterious Phoenix fleet stopped several thousand kilometers from the archive. One enormous flagship moved forward alone. Instead of opening fire, it transmitted a message. Aurora displayed the signal. A calm male voice echoed through the station. "Attention, Human Galactic Archive. This is Admiral Orion Graves. We request permission to board peacefully." The room fell silent. Princess Lyra looked at Ethan. "They're asking instead of attacking." General Kravos frowned. "That doesn't mean we should trust them." Ethan agreed. "Not yet." Aurora suddenly froze. Her holographic image flickered. "Commander, I recognize that voice." Ethan stepped closer. "You know him." Aurora nodded slowly. "Admiral Orion Graves. He served directly under your Supreme Fleet Commander." Ethan searched his memory. Then his eyes widened. Graves. He was one of humanity's greatest naval officers. Princess Lyra asked quietly, "If he's still alive." Chapter 12. The Hidden Underground Base. The command chamber remained silent. Two voices echoed in Ethan's mind. One claimed the Phoenix fleet had betrayed humanity. The other warned that the Shadow Directorate had manipulated history for centuries. Both couldn't be telling the truth. Aurora broke the silence. "Commander, there is one place that may contain the answers." She pointed toward the lowest level of the archive. "There is a restricted facility beneath us." Ethan frowned. "I don't remember any underground base." Aurora nodded. "You weren't supposed to. It was built after your deployment." Massive blast doors opened deep beneath the archive. An elevator descended through kilometers of reinforced rock. The further they traveled, the colder the air became. Across its surface were engraved words in ancient English. "Project Dawn, Level Omega. Authorized personnel only." General Kravos whispered, "This place has been waiting for you." Ethan slowly placed his palm on the biometric scanner. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then, a deep mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. "Commander Ethan Walker, Omega clearance accepted." The vault door began to open. Rows of autonomous drones lined the walls. Princess Lyra looked around in awe. This could equip an entire fleet. Aurora answered quietly. As soon as he entered, the projector activated. Static flickered. Then the image stabilized. A human officer appeared. He wore a black Fleet Command uniform decorated with silver stars. His hair was gray, his expression calm. Ethan's eyes widened. "General Marcus Hale." Princess Lyra looked at him. "You know him?" Ethan nodded slowly. The recording continued. "I don't know how much time has passed. Days, years, or centuries. But if you've awakened, humanity still has hope." The room fell silent. General Hale looked directly into the camera. "You were chosen because you always protected people before missions, before orders, before yourself. That is why I trusted you." Ethan lowered his head. The recording continued. "The other will promise justice. Do not follow either." Princess Lyra frowned. "What?" General Hale finished the sentence. "Not till you discover who has been protecting Earth." Everyone stared at the hologram. Earth still existed, Ethan whispered. "So it survived." The recording nodded, as if answering him across 3 centuries. "Yes, but Earth must remain hidden. If its location is revealed, the enemy will return." Suddenly, warning alarms blared throughout the underground base. Aurora's voice became urgent. "Commander, long-range sensors detect hundreds of unidentified warp signatures." The holographic star map expanded. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. Black warships emerged from hyperspace around the system. Unlike the Silver Phoenix fleet, these ships bore no insignia, only darkness. General Kravos took a sharp breath. Chapter 13. Ancient AI Awakens. The stars outside the human galactic archive disappeared behind thousands of warships. On one side stood the Phoenix fleet, their silver vessels holding a disciplined defensive formation. On the other side gathered the dark armada of the Shadow Directorate, their black ships stretching across space like an endless storm. Inside the underground command center, every alarm sounded at once. Aurora's voice echoed through the facility. "Warning. Enemy fleet strength exceeds archive defenses by 340%. General Kravos crossed his arms. "So even this fortress can't stop them." Aurora answered calmly. "Not by itself." Ethan looked at her. "What aren't you telling us?" For the first time, Aurora hesitated. "There is one final defense." She led the group deeper beneath the base. The elevator descended farther than before. 1 kilometer, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers below the archive. Finally, the doors opened. Before them stood a gigantic circular chamber unlike anything they had seen. At its center floated a sphere nearly 30 meters wide. It was made of black alloy, threaded with glowing blue lines. Thousands of cables connected it to the walls. Despite its size, it hovered silently in the air. Princess Lyra whispered, "What is it?" Aurora lowered her head. "This is Aegis, the first strategic artificial intelligence ever created by humanity." General Kravos stared at the sphere. "It looks asleep." Aurora nodded. "It has been dormant for 312 years. Ethan slowly approached the sphere. As he came within a few meters, the blue lines began to glow brighter. A deep voice filled the chamber. Not loud, but powerful. Identity detected. Commander Ethan Walker. The sphere rotated slowly. Probability of commander survival, 0.0004%. Recalculating. A pause. Then, welcome back, Commander. The cables disconnected one by one. The enormous sphere descended until it hovered at Ethan's eye level. I am Aegis. I have awaited your return. Ethan looked at the AI. How long have you been awake? I have never slept. I have been waiting. Princess Lyra felt a chill. What does that mean? Aegis projected a small metallic object. It resembled an ordinary military identification tag. Ethan reached into his pocket. His old command tag. The same one he had carried since awakening. He had never thought it was important. Aegis spoke. That identification tag is not merely proof of rank. Just in his pocket this entire time. Suddenly, explosions shook the underground base. Aurora's voice rang through the speakers. Commander, the Shadow Directorate has begun its assault. Outside, black warships opened fire. Brilliant crimson beams crossed space. The Phoenix fleet answered with disciplined volleys of blue light. The first battle between the two hidden powers had begun. Chapter 14. The Galaxy Learns the Truth. The battle outside the human galactic archive had become a storm of fire. Blue beams from the Phoenix fleet crossed paths with the crimson weapons of the Shadow Directorate. Every minute, more ships arrived through hyperspace, turning the forgotten star system into the largest battlefield the galaxy had seen in centuries. Inside the underground command center, Ethan held the Omega key tightly. Aegis spoke with unwavering certainty. Commander, there is one action that can change this war. Ethan looked up. What is it? Reveal the truth. Princess Lyra frowned. The truth alone can't stop an invasion. Aegis turned toward her. No, but it can unite a divided galaxy. The ancient AI projected a holographic console. This archive contains humanity's final declaration. It has remained sealed for 312 years. Ethan took a deep breath. Who recorded it? Aegis answered. The leaders of Earth. The command chamber fell silent. Ethan placed the Omega key into the center of the console. A bright blue light spread across the room. The archive unlocked its highest level of authorization. Across the galaxy, communication satellites, trade stations, military headquarters, and civilian networks suddenly came alive. Every screen displayed the same message. Priority transmission. Source. Human Galactic Archive. People stopped what they were doing. Merchants paused in crowded markets. Fleet commanders turned toward their tactical displays. Scientists abandoned their research. Even children looked up at the glowing screens. Then the transmission began. An elderly human woman appeared. She wore no military uniform, only simple civilian clothing. Behind her stood representatives from dozens of human worlds. She looked directly into the camera. If you are seeing this, then humanity has disappeared. Her voice remained calm. We did not vanish because we were defeated. We vanished because we made a choice. Images filled the screen. Human engineers rebuilding damaged colonies that did not belong to them. We believed that if we stayed, our enemies would continue destroying innocent worlds simply to reach us. So we left, not to abandon the galaxy, but to protect it. Princess Lyra felt tears forming in her eyes. The stories she had learned as a child had painted humanity as ruthless conquerors. The truth was completely different. Humanity had sacrificed its own civilization to save countless others. General Kravos lowered his head. We judged them without knowing. The recording continued. The elderly woman smiled sadly. Perhaps history will call us cowards. Perhaps it will call us fools. That does not matter. What matters are these future generations have the chance to live in peace. She paused. If one day a human returns, Do not fear them. Judge them by their actions. The transmission ended with humanity's ancient motto. Chapter 15. Alien alliances begin to crack. The arrival of the Harbinger changed everything. Its massive black hull eclipsed the dying star, casting a shadow over the battlefield. Even the Phoenix fleet, which had held its formation without fear, hesitated for the first time. Inside the Human Galactic Archive, Aegis completed its analysis. Threat assessment. Critical. Harbinger combat capability exceeds the combined strength of all fleets currently present. General Kravos clenched his fists. One ship, stronger than thousands. Aegis answered calmly. It was designed to defend humanity against extinction. Ethan lowered his head, and now it's being used against the galaxy. Across known space, governments watched the battle unfold through live military transmissions. Emergency meetings were called. The Halian Confederacy voted to support the Astran Empire. The Veyran Republic urged diplomacy. Several neutral systems announced they would remain out of the conflict. Others chose a darker path. A powerful coalition known as the Zorath Dominion declared that whoever controlled the Harbinger would control the future of the galaxy. Their Supreme Marshal addressed his fleet. We will claim the human technology for ourselves. Within minutes, hundreds of Dominion warships entered hyperspace. The fragile unity created by humanity's final declaration began to fracture. Princess Lyra watched the reports with concern. They're thinking about power instead of survival. Ethan nodded. Fear makes good people choose dangerous shortcuts. Aboard the Phoenix Fleet flagship, Admiral Orion Graves stood before his officers. A young commander asked, "Sir, should we retreat?" Graves looked at the tactical display. No. If the Harbinger leaves this system, no world will be safe. He turned toward the communications officer. Open a secure channel to Commander Walker. Moments later, Ethan's image appeared. For several seconds, the two men simply looked at one another. Graves smiled faintly. You've aged well. Ethan laughed. I've only been awake for a few days. The Admiral's smile faded. I wish we had met under better circumstances. So do I. Before Ethan could ask the questions filling his mind, the Harbinger transmitted a signal. This time, the figure removed the hood. The bridge fell silent. He was human, older than Ethan. His silver hair framed a face marked by decades of war. One eye had been replaced with a glowing cybernetic implant. Princess Lyra whispered, "He's human." Ethan stared in disbelief. "I know him." The room turned toward him. "His name is—" Ethan struggled to say the words. "Admiral Victor Kane." Aegis confirmed the identity. Former Supreme Strategic Commander of Earth's First Defense Fleet. General Kravos frowned. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.